Hello everyone, I'm Daniel Seberg in New York, and welcome to this edition of Money Matters. So there's quite a bit that you can do and can't do with $150. You probably can't buy that big new flat screen TV you want, but our guest today says you can start a booming business for $150 or less. Jennifer Braunschweiger is the features editor at More Magazine, and she joins us live with some success stories and advice for frugally launching your own business. Jennifer, thanks so much for being here today. $150, that's pretty frugal.
I know.
All right, so what are some tools that people can use to drive down their startup costs?
You know, this is yet another example of a way that the internet has changed everything. An internet-based business can actually be very inexpensive to launch. And in addition, tools like social media tools like Facebook or Twitter mean that your marketing costs can also be kept very low.
All right, now when a person decides to start up a business, what do you say is their most important asset?
You know, it's them. It's their skill. It's your skills. It's your creativity. It's your idea. It's your passion. That's what really counts these days.
All right, well, you wrote about a number of different success stories that you feature in the magazine. First, tell us a little bit about Heritage Memoirs, which started for only $52.
Isn't it great? $52. So Jennifer Campbell lost her father in 1998, and not long after, her mother developed dementia, and she realized that she knew really very little about their childhoods, about their past, and that was lost. So when she hit a crossroads in her life a couple years ago, she'd been fired, a close friend had died, she decided to devote herself to telling people's stories so that other families wouldn't experience this loss. So Heritage Memoirs, she records interviews with people and binds them into a beautiful book that they can pass on to their kids and grandchildren. So the $52, she spent $25 to register her domain name. She spent $20 on batteries, extra batteries for her tape recorder, and then there was a $7 monthly charge to keep her website running.
Wow. Maybe a little tax in there or something too, right on top.
Okay.
Now, and she weaved in her own personal story, which perhaps people shouldn't be afraid of doing, looking at what might be relevant in their own life that could help others.
Yes, absolutely. You know, what we saw really was that the best ideas came from women trying to solve problems that they were experiencing in their own lives. That's a great place to find inspiration for a business.
All right. Now, with an initial investment of a little more than $50, how did she get the word out about this company? How did she spread the word so people could come to her site and find it?
Well, you know, what we hear at More from our readers all the time is that not only are they amazing, but they have really incredible networks. So she just put the word out. It was word of mouth. She happened to mention to a former colleague that she was starting this business, creating personal histories, and he sent her first client, and it kind of grew from there.
And is she making money now off this site?
$60,000 a year.
Wow.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Very
all right.
impressive.
Well, the next website startup is fun. It's the founder of ILoveYourAccent.com. Now, tell us about this site and how much was spent on the initial investment.
Rochelle Peachy moved from the UK to the United States, and she discovered that friends on both sides were asking her to set them up. And she thought, well, there are probably a lot of British people and American people who would like to meet, so she started ILoveYourAccent.com to put them in touch. She spent $124, the $25 to register her domain name. That's a familiar number. And then she went to Craigslist and spent $99 hiring someone to design that website for her.
And did she learn something along the way that had altered her business model accordingly?
Yes, another really good lesson here. She started out offering her services for free and very quickly started hearing from customers that their inboxes were filled with spam, that the fact that it was free meant that there were a lot of fake people ending up in their mailboxes. So she started charging $20 a month or $30 for 3 months, not enough to drive away customers, but enough to allow her to offer a much higher quality product.
To weed out the bad apples. All
That's
right.
right.
Well, tell us a little bit about the founder of Rock My World Jewelry. How did she use education to get her dreams off the ground?
So this was a woman who, with her husband, owned some mall kiosks in Florida. They sold women's accessories. She took a class for $100 at a local high school where she was learning wax casting. That's, you make the mold out of wax that you would pour the metal into to make the jewelry. So she melted down some of her old sterling silver jewelry that she wasn't wearing anymore, made some jewelry, put it up on Etsy.com, 20 cents an item, and when it sold immediately, she knew that she was really onto something.
And Etsy, a great source for the economical entrepreneur.
Yes, absolutely. It's a virtual crafts fair. One of the things that's nice about it is that it draws an audience of people who are looking for homemade items, and also perhaps appropriate for the spirit of a crafts fair. It's very cheap. It's 20 cents per item plus a 3.5% fee if anything sells. So it's really a very inexpensive way to see if the stuff you're making has a wider audience.
And she's making money now?
Yes, she is. $6,000 a month.
Great. Oh, a month. Wow, fantastic. We've just got about 30 seconds left, but tell us a little bit about the idea for reuse-these and where did this come from?
I love this one. This was a stay-at-home mother of 2 in Seattle who was throwing away about a dozen plastic sandwich bags every day, making lunch for her husband and kids. So she and a friend got together, made some out of fabric, and have had a big success.
And how are they doing now?
$120,000 last year, really taking off. An order with Amazon.com for more than 1,000 of their products. It's a great story.
Wow. Any lasting impressions at this point for folks who are inspired by these stories and want to do it themselves?
Yes, you know, at Moore we talk about reinvention all the time. It's very core to our mission. In fact, our whole February issue is on this theme of reinvention. And what we have learned from talking to so many women who have done this is that it is never too late. Your future really is within your grasp.
All right, well, some great advice, and for $150, that's such a good deal to get started. More magazine features editor Jennifer Braunschweiger, thanks so much for joining us and sharing these great stories with us.
Thanks.